So for a lot of us, our mobility is just second nature. But for people who use electric-powered wheelchairs, surveys suggest that around 40% feel that using their power chairs is, quote, extremely difficult. That's why it's estimated that 40% of people with, using power wheelchairs could benefit from from having computational assistance added to their power wheelchairs. These are called smart wheelchairs. That's what I focus on in my dissertation. Now, whenever I mention smart wheelchairs, I've noticed that one thing that always comes up is self-driving cars. But I tend to think of those as more like autonomous machines, whereas I focus more on autonomous people. So what does that mean? We get some perspective from Amy Bovard in her book Mobility Matters, where she talks about losing her mobility and independence through her gradual vision loss. She talks about this school function one time where her colleagues have to lead her around everywhere because of her eyesight, and the whole time she's feeling super self-conscious, like she's a huge burden to them and almost like a wind-up doll in her own words. So later that night, she chooses to walk home by herself in the dark. Okay, extremely dangerous given her vision condition. So why does she do this? She does this to feel empowered again by simply doing it herself. And this human aspect is what drives a lot of disability technology. With smart wheelchairs, I want to use computational assistance to empower the person to drive. So how do I do that? I start with some of the same technologies as smart cars. I still use camera sensors, range finders, but I also incorporate the driver's biological signals into the computational model. So if we think about a sliding scale between complete driver control and complete machine control, I want to use the driver's status at any given moment to dictate where we should land on that sliding scale in that moment. So if we're detecting something pretty normal in the biosignals, we're going to shift closer to that driver control side, give them more control over what they want to do. But if we start detecting more abnormal things in the signal, like maybe their medication's wearing off too early, for example, that's when we're going to slide closer to machine control. So in this way, we're always trying to minimize the machine's influence at any given moment as part of that bigger picture of designing for autonomous people. Because when we lose sight of the person in that loop, we start getting things like this picture here on the left. Okay, that's a guy dressed up as a car seat. And it's not just an awesome Halloween costume. This was actually an experiment done by Ford testing public reaction to self-driving cars. And this photo op is actually a perfect summary of the future down that road where the focus is just not on the person anymore. And just to be clear, there's nothing wrong with that approach. It's just that with my research and my goals in disability engineering, I'm not as much focused on self-driving wheelchairs as I am on self-driving drivers. Thanks, everyone.